Hello everyone, welcome to Sharmit. In this session, we are going to talk about another very important example related to reactive form, where we will see how to utilize form group with patchValue. I'm sure you have already covered the previous session where we covered setValue. So some of you might be also thinking like, what is the difference between setValue and patchValue? If we have already setValue, then why there is a need to learn patchValue? So these all questions will be answered by the end of the session, and we will talk what is patchValue, how to use it, syntax and structure, benefits, and also the difference between setValue and patchValue. But before we proceed further with this session, I would like to recommend you to please go and check out the previously released session first, because they all are in proper sequence and sync. So if you follow it sequentially, then it would be much more easier for you to understand the ongoing topic. Because for time being, we are just mainly focusing on how to use form group with patchValue. But prior to that, you should know what is setValue, what is reactive form, and all the basic things that we have already covered. Okay. So to make the things easier for you, I have already attached the Sharmit digital course book in the description box. There you will find more than 3000 plus free resources, which is available in Hindi as well as English language. So as per your convenience, you can consume the content without any kind of language barrier. Okay. Alright, so now let's get started. Here you can see I'm currently in app.component.html file, where we have first heading that says Angular course by Sharmit. Second heading says reactive form in Angular, form group with patchValue. Now after that, we have two horizontal rows. So whatever the form we want to design will be designed in between these two horizontal rows. Let me clear it one thing, that these horizontal rows are not mandatory. This is just for the test purpose, just for the view purpose, not test purpose. I just want to show it properly on the browser. That's why I'm using it. Otherwise you can skip it. Okay. Alright. So now this part is clear. Now let's try to understand the requirement. Requirement is very simple and straightforward. Suppose we have a form where we have two input fields. One is for name and another one is for email. So we want to update the values through a method using patchValue for those two fields. Okay. Now to demonstrate this thing, what we will do, firstly we will define the prerequisite, and to define the prerequisite we will go to app.component.ts file. So simply go to app.component.ts file. Here in the import section we will write reactive forms module. Okay. So once this is added, now you are good to use it. So this thing is added. Now after this, what we will do here, we will simply expand this app component class, and here we will define the entire form thing. Okay. So firstly we will mention about the user form. So you just need to mention here user form, then equal, then we will write here new form group, then opening closing parenthesis, single quotes, comma, then we will write here validators dot required. Okay. So then we will write here comma again, and after this okay, something is wrong. We should firstly define the group, then we will do the control part. Okay. So let me clear it again. Okay. So user form, then new form group, opening closing parenthesis, opening closing curly braces, we will expand it. Inside this we will firstly mention the name, and here I will write new form control, then opening closing parenthesis, single quotes, comma, after a comma we will write here validators dot required, not arguments, it should be required. Yes. Okay. Then we will put a comma over here. After that we will write here email colon, then we will mention form control, opening closing parenthesis, single quotes for the default value, and similarly we will mention the validators dot required for email as well. Okay. So I think this part you already know, because we did the same thing with the setValue also, right? After this, what we will do, we will define one method which will help us to patch the value. So I will give the name also like patchValue, opening closing parenthesis, curly braces. Inside this we will write this dot userform dot patchValue. Here we will use patchValue, opening closing parenthesis, curly braces, expand it, and here we will set the name value as, let's say, Sharmit. Okay, then a comma, then we will write here email, and after that we will write here test@gmail.com. Okay, so these are the two things I want to show. Also, after this method, here we will define, after this patch value method, we will assign the console value. So console.log, here I will simply write values colon, then a comma, and here I will mention about the value. So I'll just simply write this dot user form dot value. Perfect. So this thing is ready. Now we are good with it. Okay, so after this almost the component.ts file task is done. Just make sure that these important things are already imported, like form control, form group, reactive form module, and validator. When we press the enter on at the time of writing these keywords, it automatically imported it. But if it is not, please do import it, because without this we won't be able to use it. Yeah, so this part is done. Now we will go to app.component.html file, where we will define the logic. And don't get confused between this patch value and set value. I'll clear all the things for you just after, at the time of output verification. Okay, all right, so now let's define the form here. I'll define the form, and in this form we will mention firstly the form group. In form group we will mention user form, then a comma, ng submit. Here I will set my method, that is patch value. It's a method, so opening closing parenthesis. Something wrong? It should not be. Okay, let's see. No, everything is okay. Now after this, what we will do, we will add one label here. The first label is for the name, so we will just assign name here. Then we will mention input field, and in input field I will just mention the type. So type would be text, and then we will mention here form control name, and in form control name we will mention the name. Okay, then we will mention label here. In label we will mention email, then we will mention input tag again, and in this input tag we will mention simply the type as email. Then we will mention here form control name, where we will mention email, but it should be in capital. Always make sure that you use the same cases, otherwise it will throw error. Okay, then we will add the button, and in this button we will write a patch value. You can use any text, but I just want to make it clear to you, that's why I'm using the same text. And here I will mention the type as submit. Perfect. So this part is ready. Now let's run the execute the program and see how it works. So I'll just simply run ng serve -- open, enter. Just wait for a few seconds, and then it will show you the output in the browser screen. Then we will verify it. So you can see we have one main heading that shows Angular course by Sharmit. Second heading, reactive form in Angular, form group with patch value. After that we have one horizontal row, one label, input field, another label, another input field, and one button, and one more horizontal row. Now see the magic. When I do right click on inspect and go to console, you will see if I directly hit this button, you will see that it fetches the values as test@gmail.com and Sharmit. Why? Because in this method we are doing the same, right? We are assigning the value. So whenever user press the button patch value, it execute this method, and then it assign the value Sharmit as name and email as test@gmail.com. Okay. Now next thing is, what will happen if we do it with some values? Let's say if I do abc@gmail.com. So in this situation, if you do the patch value, again it will assign the same values which is present in the method, because you know the flow, right? It calls the method and then it assigns. So usually when we are sure that we are going to make these values only, then in that case we will make it disabled. Now you might be thinking like, then it is doing the same thing that was discussed with the setValue. Then what is the difference between set and patch? The main difference between set and patch is, here if you want to do selective update, you can do that. That means if I remove this email part, save this code, and remove this comma also. Okay, let me correct. Not here, sorry. From here, if you remove this part and save the code, you will see there is no error, no failure. Okay, and if I do patch value, you will see that only it is coming with a name, not with an email. So in that case, let's say user wants to fix the name Sharmit, and here I want to make abc@abc.com, and if I do the patch value, accordingly it will work. Okay, so name is there and the value which is entered by the user. So this is the difference. In case of set value, it is not allowed. You have to write all the values of the form control. If any of the form control value is missed, in that case it will throw the error. So to fix that issue, we come up with this new solution, that is patch value. Even if you check the definition, you will find it patches the value of the form group. It accepts an object with control names as key and does its best to best match value to the correct controls in the form group. It accepts both superset and subset of the group without throwing an error. Clear? So I hope this session is clear to all of you, where we discuss what is patch value and what is the difference between set and patch value. In the next session, we'll discuss few more things. So thank you for watching Tech Sharmit.